media. Free speech lives here, and it always will. I want to thank you all for supporting the show, and I want to encourage you to contribute on the comicsgym.com page or visit nickdip.com and click on contribute. Your contributions are what keeps this show going and what has helped us now put the show on Roku, Apple TV, Android, Amazon, and mobile devices. Again, donate on the comicsgym.com or at nickdip.com, and know that 100% of your contribution comes right directly to this show. I thank you guys again. Let me guess, President Biden. Gonna blame it on white lightning? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How are you, folks? Welcome to the big show on a Wednesday, state of Georgia. The whatever state, peanut, peach, guacamole, bucket eggplant state. I got no idea. What is going on? Boy, are we hated, huh? This is fucking Biden. We'll get to that speech in a second. Oh, my God. Do you know we're as bad as the Taliban, as Al-Qaeda, as the scum that ran into the towers and took them? Do you realize that? In the eyes of the fucking current administration, which stole the election, by the way. That's what's even more of a shame. Not only do they suck, they shouldn't be in there in the first place. And anybody who tells you different works at MSNBC or CNN or ABC or NBC or CBS or the LA Times or the fucking Boston Globe or the Washington Post. Just lying, titless wonder. Yeah. So let's start off with some good news. The George Floyd Memorial was hit by lightning. That proves that God is white, does it not? Oh, Nick, that's horrible. Look at him. They put a Burger King crown on him, which is about right. Again, nobody agrees with the way he died. Nobody wanted to see a guy die like that. But what's only stupider than the way he died is how we're treating a certain segment of the population, is treating him like a martyr, like a fucking king. Guy held a loaded gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, had an arrest record as long as my arm, did porn, but let's make him to be our hero. Now I'm starting to see where the problems are in the black community. And you know what? I say that, but it's really white liberals who are holding black people back. You know when you call white people the fucking blue-eyed devils or whatever? You're right about that. If you're talking about people who are Democrat, you're exactly right. You should all come on over to the real side. Again, I live in a town that's 60% black, 40% white. It couldn't be nicer. And when I travel to South Carolina, North Carolina, anywhere, I see black and white people. When I went on that 4th of July boat, black and white people dancing together. Of course, white people really fucking bad, but everybody laughing and having a good time. So when I hear fucking jerk off Biden, I'm getting ahead of myself. Talk like that, the poison that comes out of his mouth. What a disgust. I really believe AOC's running the fucking place. It's not even Carmella. It's AOC and the three other he-she's. The squad that nobody would fuck. Anyways, local media reports that North Toledo mural has been reduced to rubble after being struck by lightning.
I am like God and God like me. I am as large as God. He is as small as I. He cannot above me nor I. Beneath him be.
Salacious 17th century. Fire and rescue responded to the site of the mural, but were unable to render aid to the collapsed wall. What do you give, a brick mouth to mouth? What the who wrote this? You can't put it back? It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle. To render aid to the collapsed wall featuring Floyd's face.
Bye-bye, dickhead.
Oh, please. I guarantee it'll be up. It'll be up by tonight or something to replace it. Maybe a painting of him, a nice giant oil painting of him trying to pass a $20 fake bill. Nick, that's not fun. I know. But the way they make them out to be, it's like the white people. Why don't we do a mural of Derek Chauvin, you know? It's almost as stupid. Anywho, some people tweeted about it. Caitlin Durbin, Toledo's George Floyd mural at Summit and LaGrange collapsed today. A city building inspector says it was just age.
He's lying.
He knows it was lightning. It just makes it look bad. It just came away. They had noticed it bowing recently. I blame it on white cops. Then there was a picture tweet by WTVG 13 ABC, and it said, witnesses have told authorities that the George Floyd mural didn't just fall apart. It was struck by lightning before it collapsed. But that would make the BLM movement look unholy. Wait a minute, they're Marxists. They don't believe in God anyway. Anyhow, I hope somebody puts it back together soon. People going to visit that when they go to Minneapolis for vacation, if anybody goes there. Going to take the kids to get some good heroin. We're going to drive out to Minneapolis. You know, and I love Minneapolis. I hate to make fun of it because Acme Comedy Club was the best comedy club in the nation. And I played it many, many times. I played the Pantages Theater. It's the only time I sold like 1,100 tickets. And it was very good to me. The guy that owned Acme, this guy, Lewis, Asian guy, was the nicest. By the way, leans right in his politics. He's just a brilliant guy. The guy would have open mic on Tuesday nights. I don't know why I'm digressing. But he would have over 200 paying customers to watch amateurs. And he would take all the local young guys and kind of groom them. The guy was phenomenal. I don't even know if it's still there now. Because of this George Floyd business. My son's hiding out in Palermo. But if something happens to him, may he get hit by a bike chain from an Antifa cocksucker. May a Molotov cocktail land in his lap. Then somebody in this room is going to pay. That being said, what's the headline here, Matt? Lying piece of garbage speaks in Philadelphia. That could only mean one man, in my opinion. The guy who stole the fucking election and who listens to the squad and who hates his country more than any sitting president ever. Jerk-off Joe Biden was in Philly. And I watched some of this, and I literally, man, my blood pressure was going through the roof. It literally went through the roof. It went through my house, and I had to go get it. I sound like Kim Kardashian using literally. He talks about voting restrictions in this first clip. Trigger warning. This will make you fucking furious if you're white, unless you're a lib. Then I hope you die of some type of sickle cell AIDS mixture. Okay, let's roll it.
Audits, recounts were conducted in Arizona and Wisconsin. In Georgia, it was recounted 3 times.
No, it wasn't.
It's clear. For those who challenge the results and question the integrity of the election, no other election has ever been held under such scrutiny and such high standards. The big lie is just that, a big lie.
You slick cocksucker.
2020 election.
You.
It's not hyperbole. It's just the most examined.
Pause.
Fullest
It's the most examined because I'll just give you a few examples, shithead. It's the most examined because it was the most controversial, where you use COVID to keep people from going to the polls and voting in person so they could mail this shit in, which is always susceptible to fraud. And it was this time, and it worked perfectly for you. It's still being examined. And we know there's a ton of evidence that you didn't win this thing. It's all going to come out. How can you stand there, you fuckhead, and look us in the eye and say that? Unfucking the most examined. Yeah. Because when you put cardboard up on polling place windows in Detroit on election night, it looks kind of weird. When trucks pull up at 4 a.m. and deliver boxes of ballots, and you watch it on the computer, your votes, you get 100,000 votes at like 6 a.m. That looks fucking weird. Not to mention the state of Pennsylvania, the legislature, changing their voting election rules 2 weeks before the election, which is unconstitutional. Not even the legislature. What am I saying? It was the council. The legislature has to do that, and they did it. You know, little details like that. Baseless claims, the big lie. You're living the big fucking lie. Oh my God. How dare you? How about the Republican pollsters that went in to watch? They had to stand 50 to 100 feet away. How about the footage of people pulling suitcases out under the desks at 7 a.m? How about 100 people, over 100 people signed affidavits saying they witnessed cheating going on. And they did it under the threat of perjury. They could go to jail. So they're all fucking lying too. You people. You fucking people. You have no idea how to run an election.
You can't handle the truth.
You can't, Joey. You're not the fucking president. It's too bad. Ay, ay, ay. Now, here's a clip where is he done with this one?
Pretty much.
All right, let's go to the next one. He's, in this clip, he's got to bring up January 6th, and this is where my eyebrows jumped off my face and stuck on the wall. Watch this.
The violence and the deadly insurrection on the Capitol on January 6th.
Pause. Deadly insurrection. One person died, a Trump supporter, a woman, a veteran, a military veteran, shot by a black cop, and we still don't know his who it was yet, his ID. He calls it a deadly insurrection. The other few people that died of heart attacks, a stroke, nobody was beat to death with a fire extinguisher like they said on CNN and MSNBC. That was all a deadly insurrection. Couple hundred people, fucking husbands and their wives and family members, and a guy in a Viking hat and a loincloth. Deadly insurrection. And you people are falling for this shit. You should be ashamed of yourself. Not you people watching me. You like me and I like you. We think alike. This guy wouldn't know the truth if it bit him on his rotten prostate. Let the dicks finish.
I just got back from Europe.
Did you?
Speaking of the G7.
I thought I was going to Alaska. He's going to cry.
Not a joke.
Oh, here we go.
I wonder, Gov.
Overdirect.
They asked me.
They asked me.
Is it going to be okay?
What are you talking about? Your brain?
The citadel of democracy in the world. Is it going to be okay? Time and again, we've weathered threats to the right to vote and free and fair elections. And each time we found a way to overcome.
You're lying. And you're a piece of shit.
Oh, they asked me, is it going to be all right? I didn't know they were talking about my dementia. I said, yes, it's going to be fine. And then I went and rinsed my nuts in the holy water at the local church, thinking it was the men's room. Yeah. Oh, my. How about the overdramatic? He's the best actor that's ever, better than Reagan, who was an actual actor. This guy's got the dramatic shit down. And then they asked me. Then he talked about Republican bills to keep people from voting. Let's hear, again, you know, it's always Whitey's fault. Go ahead, Dick Cheese. Let it fly.
civil rights groups, and other organizations have announced their plans to stay vigilant and challenge these odious laws in the courts. In Texas, for example, Republican-led state legislature wants to allow partisan poll watchers to intimidate voters and impartial poll workers. They want voters to dive further and be able to be in a position where they wonder who's watching them and intimidating them, to wait longer to vote, to drive a hell of a lot longer.
All fucking lies. To wait longer to vote? No. They're actually giving them more time. This is all about, before we forget what we're talking about, voter ID. All this, what he's calling suppression and the new Jim Crow, is asking people to show who they are when they vote. And everybody that's weighed in on it, from black people to fucking Mongolians in this country, all are for it, almost 2-1, to have to show an ID. And these fuckers, and like the douchebags in Texas who fled their state, not even listening to the people they're supposed to represent. Neither is this jackoff, who's not the president. Go ahead.
A long way to get to vote. They want to make it so hard and inconvenient that they hope people don't vote at all. That's what this is about. This year alone, 17 states have enacted, not just proposed, but enacted, 28 new laws to make it harder for Americans to vote. Not to mention, and catch this, nearly 400 additional bills Republican members of the state legislatures are trying to pass. The 21st century Jim Crow assault is real.
Then there was a piece in Breitbart, Biden lying, saying the election results case went in front of the Supreme Court. The claim, the Supreme Court, among other courts, heard the challenges to the 2020 presidential election results twice. Even I was sitting at home going, no, they didn't. They didn't even entertain it. They wouldn't let it in. And this jerk-off's up there saying this, and everybody at home's nodding and applauding. The verdict, false. The Supreme Court declined to hear the election challenges and never considered the evidence. They didn't even consider the frickin' evidence, okay? So I don't want to fucking hear it. President Joe Biden gave a speech Tuesday in support of Democrats' controversial voting reform bill, HR, what's it say, BS1? HR 1/S1, the For the People Act. I told you, right? The more patriotic sounding the name of the bill, the more they know you're getting fucked in the ass. For the People Act. The legislation would radically change American democracy, nationalizing elections and making permanent changes to voting rules that would virtually ensure Democrats never lose another election. You know, like they do in third world dictatorships. You know how in even Putin, when he has an election, he won. He got 99% of the vote. In the course of his speech, Biden made several alarming claims, referring to voting reforms passed in Georgia as a vicious anti-voting law, though it is more liberal than the rules in Biden's own state of Delaware, and adding the 21st century Jim Crow assault is real, it's unrelenting, and we're going to challenge it vigorously. He claimed that Republicans were targeting people of color, though voters of every race, like I said earlier, favor voter ID and other Republican voters' integrity policies. So everybody's for what the Republicans are trying to do, but the fucking Democrats, naturally. Biden also attacked what he called the big lie, that the big lie is that you're the president. Can we get that straight? That the election was stolen. To do so, he claimed that the Supreme Court, among other courts and legislatures, had heard the merits of the challenges to the 2020 election result. Biden's statement is false as regards to the Supreme Court, which never heard about any cause or evidence, but simply declined to hear the challenges brought by the Republicans. It declined, for instance, to hear an appeal from Pennsylvania we just talked about this yesterday, Pennsylvania Supreme Court case that rejected a challenge to the state's vote by mail law, and it also declined to hear challenge that Texas filed against election law changes in Pennsylvania and 3 other states, saying that Texas lacked the standing to do so. If anybody, I said this yesterday, if you argue with anybody about this, any of your douchebag lib friends who you should get rid of, if they say, it's a big lie, then why don't you say this? Then why doesn't Mr. Biden go do your audits, do your forensic audits, do your challenges, bring it to court? We got nothing to hide. That's the question right there. That is the litmus test. It's so obvious that they're hiding shit, and it's still coming out. Rightly or wrongly, the Supreme Court stayed out of the 2020 election, perhaps fearing the political fallout were to intervene, as it did in Bush versus Gore in 2000, a case that caused Democrats to accelerate their attacks on the judiciary. Biden's claim that the election was the most scrutinized election ever in American history also misses the point. The election laws were changed in the middle of the campaign, like I told you, Pennsylvania, to allow mass vote by mail at the behest of Democrats and over the objections of the Republicans. The rate of rejection of absentee ballots dropped dramatically from the primary to the general election. In other words, they were taking everything. Yeah, but this card's brand new. It doesn't have a mark. Who cares? But it doesn't match up to your address. We're counting it. Despite millions more ballots being delivered by mail, and private money from left-wing billionaires such as jerk-off Mark Zuckerberg was used to fund local by-mail efforts in Democratic counties in key battleground states. Remember, he spent like $450 million? Just threw it around like $20. Republican challenges were not only about claims of election fraud, but about the legitimacy and constitutionality of changes that legalized voting practices that until recently were considered vulnerable to fraud and partisan manipulation, which is just what the Dems want. And they want to make it permanent. They stole this one and we did it. Biden also said, in America, if you lose, this was the best one, you accept the results. He and his party spent years hyping false claims that Russian collusion was responsible for the 2016 election result when Trump won. They have neither recanted for that or apologized for it. Apologize. It's hilarious. The irony is thicker than Ilhan Omar's fucking eyebrows or mustache. What's this video? One more clip from his speech. Just if you haven't thrown up yet, I'll make you. You probably have dry heaves. Now here comes the real chunks. Go ahead, show jerk off.
Challenge after challenge brought to local, state, and election officials, state legislatures, state and federal courts, even to the United States Supreme Court, not once, but twice.
Not once, but twice to the Supreme Court, said the lying whore.
Wanna fucking smash his fucking face in.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. You'll get in trouble. No, you didn't, Noonan. Any he. So how's that, folks? How is that? He won. It's the big lie that Trump won. Even though mountains of evidence. I mean, how does Chris Cuomo and anybody at CNN, Don Lemon and the Rachel fucking Maddow, that guy, how do they come on every day and just look into the camera, lying through their filthy fuck? You know how much you have to hate the country to do that? Because they don't believe a fucking word of it. You know that. You know who else hates this country? The fleeing dimwits from Texas, the legislature that we reported on yesterday that flew out of the state of Texas to prevent the Republicans from having a quorum. In other words, if you have a vote, you got to have an opposing party there to make it legitimate. So their idea is to take off to Washington. They all want to be there in the swamp. Fleeing dimwits will be arrested when they return. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said Democrat state legislatures who left a special session to protest against voting overhaul bill will be arrested when they return from Washington, D.C. I don't know if I believe this guy either.
Don't you move, you motherfucker! I'll blow your brains
You will not.
Or could I grab this microphone and I'd beat your brains out with it because that's what you deserve. That's what you deserve.
Charlie! The lawmakers on Monday announced that they left Texas to deny Republican lawmakers a quorum to convene the special legislative session to consider an election overhaul in the state, and confirmed they left on a charter flight to Washington. These pieces of garbage.
Despise it with every fiber of my being.
Members of the Democrat caucus staged a similar walkout on May 30th to block the election overhaul bill, which calls for limits on early and curbside voting, bans 24-hour voting centers, limits the usage of ballot drop boxes, and other provisions. All the shit that allowed them to steal the election. See, those things have to be fixed, but not according to the Democrats. And what's funny is, you know what they use as an excuse for running out on this? They're saying they're trying to protect democracy. Democracy is when they do their job and represent the people of Texas. So they're doing just the opposite. May they all get ass and eye cancer. Good night, everybody. Have you ever had ass and eye cancer at the same time? What a bitch. So, we're white terrorists. We're the threat, bigger than any foreign threat out there. There's still people sitting in that jail in D-cell because of January 6th in the D.C. cell that haven't really been charged with anything. It is really scary. Or trespassing. Yeah, you should do at least 6 months of hard time. Munn's the word. M-U-N-N-S. That's a family. 5 members of a Texas family were arrested on Tuesday for entering the United States Capitol together during the January 6th insurrection. Federal investigators pointed to extensive social media posts from many members of the family in order to make the arrest on Tuesday in one of the largest single-day sweeps of defendants in one Capitol riot case to date. They posted shit.
Never tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking again.
Wow, and they're bragging about it like they just busted the cartels in fucking Colombia. Ooh, we got 5 of them, a family. What a violent insurrection. Mom was there, sis, the puppy. Can you imagine? That's what they're doing. Meanwhile, Russia's already hacked how many companies in this country? In China. Since Biden's been in office, they say it's hundreds. That's what we're focusing on this, as those 2 countries are focusing on dominating the world. My money's on the chinks. The Justice Department, that's some old school racism. The Justice Department said that Tom Munn had encouraged people on social media to travel to D.C. in the weeks before the riot. In December Facebook post, Tom Munn wrote, "Our president has only asked us 2 things from us so far. Number 1, vote. Number 2, January 6, 2021. You should arrest him immediately for that. In another post cited in court documents, Tom Munn wrote, "The time has come." I like this guy. He's got his face painted blue and white.
Come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
The Munn family. Here's the story of a patriotic family. There's the Munns. They should get a sitcom. Call it Mundane Crimes. Look, folks, the day before the riot, Tom Munn and what's described as his nuclear family, why is that in quotes, including someone who appears to be his partner, Don, and their children, Christy, Josh, and Kaylee, terrific kids, drove from Borger, Texas to Washington, according to charging documents used in a new federal criminal case against the 5 family members. It's like they busted the Gambinos. In a Facebook post, a tipster provided to the FBI, some rat, Christy Munn shared a picture of what appears to be some of her family members posing in camouflage clothing with the comment, "Washington, D.C., here we come. Hashtag stop the steal. Hashtag Trump is my president." Another family member, Kelsey Munn, who the FBI doesn't believe went to D.C. and was not charged with any crime, posted pictures of her family on Facebook amid the siege, calling it female empowerment. So she should be taken out and shot because the Munn women stormed our Capitol, according to court records. Do you fucking believe what you're hearing? Meanwhile, let's focus. What happened under Obama? What happened last summer? When half the country burned down, murders, looting, rioting. What happened? They're defunding the police. Fucking jerk-off Kamala Harris actually put up money to bail him out. Don Cheadle and some other celebrity goo-gobblers. Yet they're trying to point to this white family. Have you ever seen the law applied more unfairly? The Munns are among a handful of capital defendants to have been charged alongside immediate family members, though this appears to be the largest family charged. They're talking about like they brought down the whole fucking organized crime in 1970. So they're the biggest family charged so far. Dozens of other alleged rioters have been turned into authorities, get this, by family members. I don't even believe that. I believe whoever fucking wrote this is suggesting to do that, by family members and other close connections who saw them on TV. Wow. Do you understand if that's true? Biden is literally trying to recreate the Civil War by literally brother against brother, ratting each other out. Guarantee there's no guineas on that list. Screenshotted social media posts or even discussed the riot in person. Oh my God.
Fucking rat anyways. Whole family's all rats. You would have grown up to be a rat.
Let's get off it, huh? They're talking about like literally it was 9/11 all over again. How embarrassing. And you people out there, I know you don't, even if you voted for him, I know you don't believe it. You just want to be right. You don't care what happens to the country. Not you guys. You're obviously all my fans. I can't help it if these people don't tune into one of the best shows in the history of the internet. You know who I love and who might be the greatest reporter in the last 100 years? James O'Keefe of Project Veritas. Doing God's work is what I say. This guy is doing God's work.
He was the best guy around.
Yeah, man, he's still around.
I am like God and God like me. I am
As large as God, he is as small as I hate CNN. Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe brought his latest legal victory to the CPAC stage on Friday. I think that was in Dallas. O'Keefe has spent the past year exposing media companies from social media to mainstream broadcast networks. O'Keefe spoke on the CPAC stage, bringing up whistleblowers who have been instrumental in revealing media bias. I love this fucking guy.
The best guy around.
After he spoke and before a party thrown by the independent news outlet, O'Keefe took the opportunity to address the CNN in the lobby of a nearby hotel. O'Keefe approached CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan in the lobby of the Renaissance Hotel in Dallas. He asked O'Sullivan for a comment on Charlie Chester, the CNN director who admitted that the network intentionally downplayed coverage of Black on Asian hate crimes because to report it would set back the BLM movement. CNN guy admitted that. But we're all paranoid and conspiracy theorists. O'Sullivan doesn't respond or acknowledge the question. Of course he doesn't. He works for CNN.
You can't handle the truth.
But O'Keefe is undaunted, and he asks O'Sullivan why Chester is still employed at CNN. Project Veritas revealed earlier this year that Chester claimed that the network had hyped COVID. They had hyped COVID fears to drive the ratings up. He actually said we need more dead people or some shit. Here's O'Keefe hounding these guys. Go ahead.
Why are you walking away from it? Aren't you a journalist?
That's a
Do
journalist.
you understand the effect you have on discourse in this country working for CNN? CNN hasn't fired Charlie Chester. Why not? You know you look like a coward right now. You know that, right? You put your line down, you go into the elevator running away from me.
His colleague at CNN said, more people have to die of COVID, so the numbers go up. It will be good. He actually said that. And they downplayed the black on Asian shit because it would hurt the black movement. And you people still watch CNN, some of you, all 12 of you. That's just crazy, in my opinion. We got some more of him busting chops, right? Yep. You got to love this guy. He's doing God's work. Go ahead, James. Let him have it.
So what is your comment on Charlie Chester still being employed by your network? He called it propaganda. He's, death cells. We need more people to die so we can have better ratings. That's what your colleague said in the control room, and he still works for your network. The most trusted name in news, and you're smiling. You're smiling about it. You think it's funny? You think it's funny? You think it's funny?
Someone get that man and expose CNN.
The other thing is, I'm suing your network for defamation.
I'm loving it. O'Keefe is suing CNN for defamation and all kinds of stuff. Every time I hear that, though, it's like, okay, it's going to go to court, and you're going to have some Ivy League lib cocksucker. That's where the real cancer is right now. I think somebody should take down the Ivy League. I want nothing but DeVry graduates in my administration. Anybody else tired of gay people? I don't mean of their sexuality, just about them bragging about how they were born and how there's more work to do. They're taking a page right out of the civil rights playbook. I'm tired of them, and I'm not going to say it again. I will, but when you're in show business, you have plenty of gay friends, and I never had a problem with any of them, ever, not one. You know why? They never try to fuck my mouth. Anyways, I used to, when I lived in L.A. and I lived in West Hollywood, not knowing that it was a festival, I used to get fucking hit on by more guys walking down the side. And you know what? It was like a chick whistling at me. I was like fine with it. Sometimes I was tempted to say, how about giving me a nice tug behind that dumpster over there? Ass chaps. Here's the headline. More goo gobbler whining about Chick-fil-A. I am so tired. Chick-fil-A has, listen, I'm going to go through the whole story, but they've disproven this, okay? The guy's religious that owns it. He used to send something to a Christian foundation, money, they were against gay marriage. So that makes these people hate gay people. That's why gay people get fucking beat up and bullied. And they've been doing this for 10, 15 years to this company. And yet their sandwiches are so good, even gay people are like, fuck that. But it was really just a matter of, this guy's religious. He's not open on Sundays. And God forbid, he runs a company that shares his values. But again, that's turned into hate. And you fucking gay people, can you take a rest? Is Pride Month over yet? It's Pride century in this country. Chick-fil-A is getting skewered by a group of New York lawmakers who are looking to block the company. And most of them are gay, by the way. You can't keep your sexuality out of anything. You can't separate it from what you do. Block the company's bid to open restaurants at state highway rest stops. Oh, boy. This ought to change the world. Because of its owner's anti-LGBTQ stance. And, Mr. Cathy was asked about it, and he said this.
Fucking quiz!
Broke his own window at the Chick-fil-A in Albany. Can you imagine? The Atlanta-based fast food chain is among a handful of restaurants that were awarded contracts by the New York State Thruway Authority to be part of a $450 million plan to renovate 27 service areas, ironically where gay guys blow each other at 3 a.m. Billy, get some napkins from Chick-fil-A. But Chick-fil-A's chief executive, Dan Cathy, whose father, S. Truett Cathy, founded the $8.4 billion company in 1946, Jesus, has publicly disparaged LGBTQ rights, which some legislators say should disqualify the privately owned company. And guess who those legislators, I sound like Trump. I mean, Biden, Ku Klux Klans. He said that yesterday, Ku Klux Klans. Anyways, own company from opening eateries at state-run highway rest stops. Of course, the assemblymen are gay in the legislature. Assemblyman Harry
Please give me call.
Bronson, a Rochester area Democrat, sent a letter to Thruway Authority Executive Director Matthew Driscoll asking him to re-examine the list of approved concessions for the rest stops because of Chick-fil-A's past support of anti-LG. No, it wasn't anti, it was pro-Catholic values. What, we have to follow your rules? Anti-LGBTQ groups, according to the Auburn Citizen. Bronson and two other legislators who signed the letter, Deborah Glick and Danny
I suck cock.
O'Donnell, are openly gay. And there they are. I don't know who's who. I think that's Deborah on the right and Danny on the left. Yuck. She looks like she looks like one of Hitler's henchmen. She's just unhappy with how she turned out, and so is he. Ugh. They're openly gay, so, fuck the rest of the millions of people that want the Chick-fil-A at the rest areas. Their feelings were hurt. Chick-fil-A's foundation has given money to anti-LGBTQ no, they gave to pro-Catholic organizations, Christian organizations, and supported opponents of same-sex marriage ballot initiative, which they have a right to, according to the report. Chick-fil-A's restaurants are also closed on Sundays, missing out on more than $1 billion in revenue, said the godless whores, so that its employees can go to church if they choose, which is a nice thing, if you like that type of stuff. So we got that going for me. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, is he still alive? Also tried to ban Chick-fil-A from the city over Kathy's stance. His efforts flopped. And the Big Apple is now the home of the world's largest Chick-fil-A. Everything de Blasio touches turns to shit. Only this time it turned out beautifully. It's the home of the the owner did that on purpose. He's like, what's our biggest location? So, the one in Denver's. Let's make this 3 stories high. Chick-fil-A disputed that it currently has a political agenda, pointing to a 2019 announcement in which it pledged support to just 3 causes: education, homelessness, and hunger. And by the way, they never stop gay people from working there or serving gay people. Isn't that really the 2 things that are most important? So shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Go to a fashion show, will you? Chick-fil-A is excited about the partnership and the opportunity to further serve the residents of New York, the company said in a statement. We don't give a shit what those faggots say. Our chicken is moist and delicious. No. We want to be clear that Chick-fil-A does not have a political or social agenda, and we welcome everyone in our restaurants. You can have anal sex in the restrooms if you clean up after yourself, said the man. Nick just added that. I kid. I was kidding. Elevate. I was kidding. Matt likes my movie impressions. Let's get on to some. Hey, we haven't talked about race in about 3 seconds. It's a great clip. I think Matt found this one. Headline: Bad Boys with a Z barbecue. I am a clever prick, aren't I?
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all.
And I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm a Guinea, and I'm Irish. The footage was first broadcast in May via Facebook. This is guys in prison having a barbecue. KFOR TV reported it. The report reportedly shows the inmates near a makeshift grill in prison filled with what appeared to be meat above an open flame. This is in their cell. And appearing to smoke marijuana while boasting about breaking all the jail rules. Once again, these people look so sad to be in jail. I just feel they just hate being there. I think you'll feel the same as I do. Let's roll the tape there.
That nigga said, you, we gonna get you when they not with you. Said,
You don't even have no bars. You're a nobody, bro. You see that? You know what I'm saying? That's how we do this up in the county, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say where we at, but man, this is the real deal. Holyfield, y'all eating trays, man. We getting paid, man.
Oh, God. Is that cheese on top?
It's not going to be long before you all kill yourselves because you're all crazy.
God, it looked like a giant pus burger.
On me.
Did they look like they were having a bad time in there? I almost wanted to join them. Open flame. That's safe, huh? And fucking, you're in a barred-in room, couple other guys, 3. Oh, my God. And it bugs me because I've never been that happy in my life. They're smoking a blunt. They got a 40-pound cheeseburger waiting for them. God, help us. The guy said, you see that? This is how we do it up in this county, motherfucker. An inmate inside the Oklahoma County Detention Center is heard saying on the video, taste my shit. The 3 inmates seen in the footage were identified by jail officials as Artis Dixon, 31, Quantrell Ellison, my favorite black name, Quantrell, and he's 33, and 23-year-old Hashim Coleman. Now, these guys apparently are going to work for Bill Gates in some capacity when they get out. They're taking coding. This is the real deal, Holyfield. All right, we know what they said. We just watched the clip. Go shit in the hat. Dixon was out. Let's talk about the people. Dixon, the best chef in the country, was ultimately arrested by Oklahoma City police and charged with 2 counts of possession of contraband by an inmate and possession of a 4-pound cheeseburger loaded with black hash. The jail has had issues with prohibited items inside its walls before. A March 5th jail cell search yielded 23 cell phones. This is the worst jail ever. 243 grams of marijuana, 476 grams of tobacco, a used syringe, SIM cards, 2 pieces of sharpened metal, and other items. Who's watching the fucking Barney Fife? What the hell's going on here?
What the hell's going on out here?
I don't know. The facility's been besieged by a number of issues over the years. But you can get some of the best pulled pork that they make in an aluminum turlet. On Tuesday, it lost its certification. Zagat's gave it 3 stars. No, it lost its certification to house juvenile offenders following an unannounced visit from the State Health and Mental Department. Oversight of the jail was transferred last year from Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office to a 9-member jail trust. What the hell is that?
We ain't partners, we ain't brothers, and we ain't friends.
They look like good, clean-cut kids. Leave them be. This is how voracious my appetite is. That actually made me hungry. That giant rat burger. Finally tonight, headline, It's Okay With Me. 2 lawsuits have been filed against Universal Orlando. This one's going to make your nipples angry. Because of one of their actions, one of their actors allegedly posed for a photo with biracial children and flashed the upside-down OK symbol. Was the media duped into believing to be a symbol? The media believes it's which it's not, a symbol of white power. After 4chan, that's an internet thing, spread a hoax about the common gesture. I love it.
White power, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're all working in Disney. Hey, remember our boy Raz, my producer? He explained to me the game that, Matt, have you ever heard of this?
I've read about it online.
You make that thing, and if
you draw their eye, they punch you.
Yeah, that's how it started. And somebody on 4chan turned it into this white power thing. And this fucking biracial family, of course, here's where we are in 2021. The 2 girls involved were aged 5 and 6 years at the time. The photographs were taken, and the lawsuit alleges humiliation and mental anguish. Give me a fucking break.
You want to call it by its name? That's strictly for fags.
Really? I can destroy a kid by going, hey, look. According to, hey, at least they didn't get molested like the fucking Disney characters in Times Square. I think Goofy was up for rape last year, and was it Minnie Mouse for distributing? Crazy. According to local outlet Click Orlando, the two incidents were separate but have exactly the same pattern, where the actor playing Gru from Despicable Me. It's fucking Chuck Schumer. It's Chuck Schumer getting girls for Anthony Weiner. Look at his right hand. Now, wait a minute. Oh, my God. Anyways, I got to look at Despicable Me. That looks funny. Sneaks the hand signal into the photos. One of the girls wanted to show the photo at school, and her family and her was shocked to find out that the image was unacceptable, especially when they found out why. So they didn't even know about this until some lawyer said, hey, let's turn this into a buck. You filthy right. Tiffany Zinger, one of the plaintiffs, I'm not making that up, told the media in an interview he put his hand on her as if he was just doing it regularly, and I was looking at the camera. He started to put the universal white supremacist hate sign on her shoulder after my lawyer Ron Rosenstein explained it to me. We just wanted to take them to see the Minions do something special for our family, and this person ruined that special warm feeling. Oh my God, I have to move. The actor in question is no longer working for Universal, but is Trump's new campaign manager. So he got fired at Universal. Take it to court and tell him to stick it up their asses. That is it, ladies and gentlemen, for today. And once again, don't forget the comicsgym.com, the permanent home of this show. Don't forget nickdip.com, my website. And don't forget cameo.com. Don't forget contribute financially, too, please. Or sign up monthly. Please. Let's keep this show on the air. And somebody's got to pay for that new kitchen. You know what I'm saying, motherfuckers? Cameo.com. Go to cameo.com. Click on my profile. And fill me in on about a person, and I will roast the person. I'll make a video on my phone, minute and a half or so, roasting that person or saying happy birthday to your sister or whatever. People love it. They really do. I have one every morning. I have a couple waiting for me. It's actually fun to do. That is it. You guys think it, I will say it. You're very welcome. We will see you back here, I can't believe it, for the final day of the week tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.